Nagoyas. So one antenna that I don't actually own a lot of, but I always recommend them above everybody else when it comes to Amazon antennas is Nagoya. And that is because Nagoya gives you what you're buying for about $20. They don't cost that much more than a Breeze, which are my second favorite Amazon antenna. And you get a product that is noticeably higher quality. So to start, the iconic 771. I don't own an actual 771, but this is the 771G. What the G is one of the only GRMS antennas that actually seems to be resonant for GRMS, even amongst Nagoyas, or at least the ones that I own. So let's start by swapping adapters to the jank adapter. I have an SMA male to male, but it pin is a little messed up for some reason. I think it's slightly too narrow. So I have this. Let's start with the king first, the 771G. All right, so at about 166.05, you can see that giving it a light grip, it is resonant in the GRMS band, about 2.0, which sounds bad, but with HTs and SWR, about 2 to 3 is what I would say acceptable. That's not obviously not ideal. You want it to be below 2 for ideal, but with HTs, you're not always going to get that. And this is with the light grip. And we can see that the SWR spike is a little bit higher in frequency than what we want, but when you're holding an HT, it's not going to be sitting on the desk like this. You're going to be giving it the death grip with your hand, and that's going to choke it a little bit lower. Kind of didn't, expecting it to. It's still about an SWR about 2.3. And you can see our Smith chart flag in that center window. I got a monitor over here, and my mic boom is made out of metal, and then there's a lamp right there that's metal. So it's going to be upside down, but it's facing away from all the metal. And we're getting a much better SWR, about 2.4. The light grip. And then we give it death grip. And it's about still 2.4. Great GRMS antenna. Now we can see there's another SWR spike down here, but that's not really usable. But about 160s. I guess if I guess that's MERS range if you want to use this as a MERS antenna too. And I don't know where it's used, but in my Yaesu programming software, there's presets for off-road frequencies. I don't know if that is a commercial license thing. It probably is. But those are usually around the MERS band too. This is a lesser seen Nagoya. Nobody really seems to go over this. This is the NA-24J, November Alpha 24 Juliet. This is their nitinol antenna. And I wasn't very impressed with it. I do love how thin it is. It's even thinner than the signal stick. But see, with the light grip, you can see that it is way off band. About 155. I forget what the J models mean. I might have just bought the wrong antenna. And then we go up to about 426. And there's a little bit of a log mag drop there. Give it the death grip. And yeah, it doesn't really help it too much. Let's go to 146, 850. Okay, with the depth grip, it's about resonant at 2 meters, 1.5 SWR. So this is a very, very lightweight 2 meter antenna if all you want is 2 meters. And I personally like 2 meters because I like to bring my radios hiking, and I really never use them any other time than that. This is nitinol. Unfortunately, though, I have better antennas for hiking, like my 2 meter Smiley that goes between 4 or a quarter wavelength and 5/8. But yeah, I guess if you just want a 2 meter antenna, then the Nagoya NA-24J. Now, these used to be my hiking antennas before I got my Yaesu. I have a GMRS 9R, the GMRS version of the UV9R Pro, and then for the UV9R Pro, my ham radio, I have a variant. These on the outside are identical, and I cannot tell the difference. I put a little scratch in the GMRS version so I could tell them apart, but essentially these look the same. These are Nagoya's folding tape measure antennas. They're about 30 inches long, and I consider at 2 meters to be about half wavelength. So we'll start with the GMRS version, since that's how we started the video. Unfold it. This is going to be very awkward because I have a corner desk here, so everything is off to my sides. Just so I can show the camera properly, I'm going to stick it to my left side, even though I got all the metal over there. Go about 466.05, and we can see that the SWR spike's a little bit too high. Sometimes giving it the depth grip will lower it down the band, but it doesn't. Stick it to my right side, which is in open air. No wall or anything. With the light grip, we can still see that the Smith chart's actually in the window, as I like to call it, that center 4 squares that gives a window shape. SWR is still not good, 3.9, not good at all. Give it a death grip, and it's still kind of meh. From personal experience though, it works just fine for me in the mountains, but when it comes to the real numbers, it's not a good antenna, which makes no sense because Nagoya usually gives you what you're buying. But then we'll go to its bigger brother, technically, because 70 centimeters should be longer than GMRS. This one. This is actually a good antenna, and I've made plenty of contacts while hiking with this on 2 meters, and a lot of people compliment from up to 40 miles away, like, wow, that's coming in like really clear for a radio and a cheap antenna. Yeah, I got wires over there too. All right, so let's go where it's going to realistically be used, because you're not buying a long antenna to use 70 centimeters. You're buying a long antenna to use 2 meters. 146.850. We got an SWR of 1.3. Death grip, and it only improves it in the upper band. So 149 is out of band, but an SWR of 1.02. That's insanely good. Unfortunately, it's out of band. But if you... I have the averaging rate on this at 10 times. That's why it's so slow. But I was pinching the base of it to choke out the antenna. Usually lowers the frequency that it's resonant at. Putting it in open air away from all my monitors and everything. 146.850, we got an SWR 1.8. And if you're somehow able to choke it, again, like, you get this insanely good SWR. But this is a really good antenna in the mountains. But let's go over to 70 centimeters. Or 448.950. This is going to be up in your repeater bands. Feed it through all the wires on my left side. And we can see that it's just not resonant anywhere. And ironically, well, maybe not ironically, I thought that spike was going to be GMRS. But yeah, the Nagoya, oh yeah, I forgot to mention these, because these aren't labeled at all for some reason, which made me suspicious if they were real Nagoyas. But I did get them through BTech on Amazon, and they are importers of Nagoyas. Because the way Nagoya works is they are a Taiwan company that sells antennas in bulk. They are not at all interested in individual sales. So what BTech does, which is an American company that sells Chinese products usually, and some Taiwan products, they import the real Nagoyas in bulk, and then they distribute them on their website and Amazon. So if you get a Nagoya through BTech, you're getting a real one. But this is the NA-30, and this is the NA-30G. The NA-30G, the GMRS version, for whatever reason, is not good for GMRS, but the NA-30, this is an amazing half wavelength 2-meter antenna because it's about 30 inches long. That's why it's the NA-30. And Nagoya always starts with NA-30. It might be 30H, I don't know. But it's the NA-30. The little tape measure inside of here, you can even kind of see at the base here, there's a little bit of yellow peeking through because they're all just tape measures on the inside. Really good antenna. I might even go back to it if I need something other, if my Smiley breaks. This is a 5/8. This is a half. I just want the Smiley because I want it down in the quarter position, and if I can receive on a quarter, then I can definitely transmit on 5/8. But yeah, those are the Nagoya antennas that I have, and I recommend all of them except for the NA-30G, the GMRS version of the 30-inch. When it comes to GMRS antennas, the only one I've found, period, that I own that actually works for GMRS is the Nagoya 771G. Yeah, that's about it.